20 carries, 70
Now,
yards.
I want you guys to pay attention. Jay, take notes on this because here's what I'm about to do.
Handwritten notes.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys saw what I did there. So my love-hate article came out on Thursday, and Aaron Jones was on it. He was a hate. But then yesterday, as for my shot for shot, my shot was one of my shots in terms of sort of my. It's kind of a little bit of a bold call, a guarantee, kind of what some things you're saying this is going to happen. One of my shots was, as you just heard the audio of that from Fantasy Football Pregame Sunday morning, is that I was going to be wrong on Aaron Jones and that a big game was coming. Well, what happens? Aaron Jones, as we enter Monday Night Football, he's the 6th best running back in fantasy, 17.9 fantasy points, 24 touches, his most since Week 10 of last season. Played 57% of the snaps. That's a season high. He had a 16.5% target share he has over the last 3 weeks, at least 5 more targets. Aaron Jones was freed, and these are the kind of things that happen when Aaron Jones is freed. So yes, I am victory lapping my reversal of a bad call.
That's like
so
me
it's
and
just,
Michael Thomas.
Yeah, it's very. I walked back my bad call, and I'm now victory lapping my walk back of what was initially an awful call.
Fantasy insurance.
Fantasy insurance. So yes, if somebody just read my love-hate, they'd be like, this a-hole Barry. But no. Because I tweeted it out, and I got it in before the deadline. I reversed course on Fantasy Football Pregame, and then I also tweeted that out. So there you go. You
have to consume all your content to properly judge.
Thank you. Exactly. You can't miss a day or even a moment. And so I'm not allowed to get crap for that one. There you go. So that's the kind of gymnastics you need to do in the fantasy analyst game.
You need multiple outs.
Exactly. Just always, find yourself a way to pivot at all times. So there you go. God bless. I'm like Mary Lou Retton over here with my gymnastics.
Right.
Good hip reference too.
Yeah, it's a reference from 1938.
Yeah.
Simone Biles. I was trying to think of there we go. That's more reference.
Yes.
I was trying to think of that was the first gymnast that came to mind.
Who's the old person you referenced the other day? Mephistopheles. What is some weird?
Mephistopheles, yeah.
Just look at each other like, okay.
Methuselah.
Yeah, that was it.
Mephistopheles.
Whatever. The fact of the matter is I was right on Aaron Jones. Free Aaron Jones.
That's right. All right, Jay, how about Amari Cooper? He catches all 5 of his targets, most importantly, 139 yards and a touchdown in Deshaun Watson's return for the Browns.
It doesn't matter who his quarterback is, Deshaun Watson or P.J. Walker. I think the most encouraging thing for Amari Cooper is that Deshaun Watson, physically, he looked right to me. He looked like he was the guy who was playing against Tennessee. It wasn't always pretty, but athletically, he looked like he was there. He had an elite PFF grade yesterday, Deshaun Watson, and that bodes well going into a matchup against Baltimore, which looked like it could just be an absolute housing. But now I think Cleveland are very live in that matchup with Deshaun and Amari Cooper looking like they do.
Over for the Patriots, Matthew, Rhamondre Stevenson, only 9 carries, but 87 yards. He had a big run. He has the touchdown. He also catches 4 passes, 42 yards. And a good schedule ahead for Rhamondre Stevenson. It's showing some life.
Yeah, listen, it helps that he played my awful Commanders defense. And they play the Colts next week. That's the Germany game. And then they're on a bye. They come back, though, Giants, and then the Chargers at home, which is a tough one. I think, to me, the positives about Rhamondre Stevenson is, he had the big run up the middle. That's not something you expect every single week. But he's had at least 14 fantasy points in 3 of his past 4 games. And I think part of the reason why is they've started to finally get him back involved in the passing game. Remember, that was something that was just missing early in the season. But over the last 4 weeks, he's got a 16.5% target share. He's had at least 4 receptions in 3 out of 4 games. So the fact is that Stevenson, with 14 or more fantasy points in 3 of the past 4, back on the RB2 radar there as well. And again, you like the matchup with Colts and Giants, the next 2, with a bye in between those.
Jay, Cole Kmet comes in as tight end 2. Most importantly, caught 2 touchdowns in this game. Cole Kmet stays hot.
18 targets for Cole the past 2 weeks.
Well
and
done.
He looks like he's established a rapport with Tyson Bagent the past 2 weeks, clearly. We'll see what happens. Looks like Justin Fields is probably going to play on Thursday night against the Panthers. We'll see there. But Cole Kmet at a position which is always lacking, is a viable starting option.
Top 5 names this week for tight end.
I actually called that in that order.
Dalton Schultz. This is dead serious. I played against somebody in a Superflex league that's tight end premium scoring. So you get 1.5 per reception. Somebody started, it's a deep league, but somebody started Cole Kmet, Cade Otton, and Jonnu Smith against me. I swear to God.
Top 5
all
tight
3
ends.
of them. And I'm like, oh, this, and that, anyway, they boat raced me, as you might imagine.
Slaughtered by Jonnu Smith
and
K-Dot.
K-Dot. I mean, it's like one
What a
thing.
way to die.
It's one. I mean, right? Exactly.
Best way to die.
It's one of those things where
That's
you're
a
like,
Scott Fishbowl sounds like.
it is Scott Fishbowl.
Yeah.
I am most points against in Scott Fish. My Scott Fishbowl team is a disaster. I'm most points against in this league. Like I'm just every week I put up 200 points, and every week the team I'm playing puts up 270. And I'm like, again, I swear to God, this Scott Fishbowl opponent I had this week had K-Dot and Jonnu Smith and not Jake Ferguson.
Dalton Schultz.
Dalton Schultz. No,
Same
not Dalton
player.
Schultz. The other, the more obscure one. I don't know, whoever the list was. I don't know. But it was K-Dot and Jonnu Smith and somebody else was stupid. Where you're just like, what are you gonna do? Here's the thing about Kmet, though. It's his fourth game this year with 15 or more fantasy points. I don't think he has quite the connection with Fields that he does with Bajent, but it does feel like he's getting there. Here's the weird thing. A buddy of mine texted me before the morning, Sunday morning, and he said, hey, Jake Ferguson or Cole Kmet. And I was like, Ferguson, easy. Like, how's this even a conversation?
Yeah.
Saints are pretty good against the tight end. Ferguson was on my love list. Eagles brutal against the tight end. It's Ferguson. It's clear. And then I see Cole Kmet get too tight. I'm like, oh, God, did I just, luckily,
Ferguson
had a great game, and my buddy won his game anyway. So it worked out. So thank you.
Our final one here, Josh Jacobs, 26 carries, 98 yards, but Josh Jacobs, Jay, continues to get in the end zone. He has the 2 touchdowns against a Giants team that looked completely defeated.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a complete mess of a game, and we'll get into the Giants' offense at a later point, but Josh Jacobs, he's looked more explosive to me the past 2 weeks. He still hasn't got to 100 rushing yards on the season. He did win the rushing title last year, so you would like to see more yardage. Still only 3.8 yards per carry, but he's going to get end zone carries, particularly with Aiden O'Connell as his quarterback.
Hey, it's Matthew Berry from NBCSports.com and RotoWorld.com, and I want to thank you so much for watching whatever it is you just watched, or if nothing else, being too lazy to click out of the autoplay after this video started, after whatever it is you actually wanted to watch finished. But now that you're here, I'd like to take a moment here to ask you respectfully now, okay? I'm asking you respectfully to subscribe to the NFL on NBC YouTube channel. You'll get the latest RotoWorld fantasy news headlines, all sorts of great shows, including my own Fantasy Football Happy Hour. So go subscribe now. Again, I'm asking respectfully.